Warning, this episode contains mild to heavy explicit spoilers. Listen at your own risk.
Reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is The Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
When on a peaceful day at home, Miyabi, a young woman living in Japan, is reading books absent-mindedly watching over her daughter who's taking care of their plants on the lip of their high-rise apartment. Tragedy strikes when Aoi, the young child, slips into the other world and Miyabi is left a former shadow of herself. This is the opening to 2022's New Religion, directed by Keishi Kondo, a meditation on the profundity of grief and the slow release of it to become a changed person. Miyabi, played by Kaho Seto, is now sometime later divorced and living with her boyfriend, played by Sayonji Ryusugen. She is having a quiet life, earning a living as a call girl. She is presently the living dead as far as everyone's concerned, as we learn from her later that her love has left her life after the death of her daughter. Kondo's incredibly assured direction of this dreamlike world has definite nods to Kiyoshi Kurosawa's works. Every frame in this film is immaculately lensed and purposeful, like seeing pieces of art at every edit. Filmed with a confident eye, you would assume that this wasn't Kondo's debut film, but it is, gracefully weaving an unsure tale of loss and evolution with a landscape of late 90s celluloid. The opening of the film, which interchanges a red hell of upended cities, cellular recombinations, moths waiting to beat their wings, and a chrysalis in human form, give us an open-ended idea that this movie owes its eventual story to films like Antichrist, Seance, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It feels wholly original in its slow-paced narrative, anchored by incredibly nuanced performances of all involved. One of the girls working for Miyabi's company, Akari, played by Kuro Mizuta, begins to show erratic tendencies, speaking of dead relatives, having current conversations with her, and eventually leading to her flying off the radar after going on a slashing spree in the middle of the city. She becomes a sort of boogeyman that is spoken about the residual chaos she creates, such as bombing schools and government offices. The client this woman was seeing has now asked for the services of Miyabi. This is where the film truly begins to balance its social drama into a nightmarish horror. The client Oka, played by Satoshi Oka, is an even scarier version of Shinya Tsukamoto's villains. A man with a damaged voice box that speaks through a science fiction level technology, including speakers lining his apartment. His robotic voice having a deity-like quality, unnerving and all-knowing. He talks about the wonders of insect evolution, the moth in particular. He's not asking for sex, of course, only photographs of parts of Miyabi's body. It doesn't feel salacious, more insidious. There's also Miyabi's driver, who takes her from client to client. He eventually serves as a detective character who uncovers the disturbing link between Oka's relationship with the now unseen yet dangerous Akari. He's played with a cool, no-nonsense demeanor by Daiki Nunami. His exploration into Oka's red-tinged apartment is a thoroughly spooky sequence that reveals an incredibly horrifying truth. A subplot of mysterious photos Miyabi appears in with her daughter, as well as Akari, eventually shows that these women were indeed given a dark fate. I will say the boyfriend character at first seemingly comes off as selfish and lazy, but boy does this man have some seriously cool shirts. I actually sent a message to the director asking for them. She's the breadwinner, but as we get to see the interactions between he and Miyabi, more and more we understand that the enormous wall that Miyabi has put herself in affects everyone. From her jaded ex-husband who assaults her and her new boyfriend to the worried new call girl co-worker that can only see a bad end for her. It's really a beautiful dour film without becoming depressive. A look at what it takes for one person to realize their grief has completely consumed their world and that it might be too late for them to escape it. The supernatural elements of the film are underplayed, though very strong in their presentations. There are two ways for Miyabi to break through this eternal self-punishment to evolve and learn to love herself and the memory of her child to move on. Through self-realization is one way. Oka's ideas, on the other hand, is to revolutionize the world and have people change in a different, more disturbing manner. The idea of indestructible terrorists laying waste to the city to bring upon a new world sounds cartoonish on paper, but takes on a very scary reality in this film. A real honest recommendation from me to you to watch New Religion. 9.5 out of 10, having a repeat of a wonderful day, but at what cost?